Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to the big leagues.
Man, hope everyone's strapped in and, I don't know, hanging onto your butts right now. Yep. It is crazy.
Buckle up. Hang on. Do whatever you got to do. It's going to be a wild ride.
This is DNVR Buffs Prime Time on early signing day. We are presented by Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Use promo code DNVR for a first deposit match up to $100. Let's just get into it, man. Jordan Seaton, we've been waiting all day. We've got 5 signatures. We got some other news with this recruiting class, these freshmen. But Jordan Seaton now trending towards Maryland all of a sudden.
Yeah. So obviously we'll set the stage here. I don't know if trending towards is the right word.
He got a crystal ball.
He did get a crystal ball, so I guess you're fair to say that. This kind of sparked up a little bit last night.
Uh-huh.
And last night it didn't seem like there was much unease over it. And early this morning, Maryland came in really, really hard. Pause. But they, from who I've been talking to, are throwing everything at Jordan Seaton to try and get him to stay home and go to Maryland. He's obviously from Washington, D.C., and they're throwing the kitchen sink. And I'll just give you where I'm at right now, because I talked to someone in the mid-morning who said, we're fine. I talked to someone right before we went on here, and they said, I don't know anymore. So that's where we're at. And, I could sit here and tell you guys everything's fine. We're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. But it's definitely fair to be worried right now.
I mean, he just announced his commitment, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
And then today, we had a lot of people sign their NLIs, National Letter of Intent. 5 freshmen, a few guys have dropped out, a bunch of transfers. But then earlier, I don't know, it says 2 Eastern, so an hour and a half ago, Jeff Ehrman, who is Maryland's 247 Sports Insider, filed a 6, which is a medium confidence crystal ball.
What are we doing with 6?
I don't know. On signing day?
6 confidence crystal balls on signing day is weak.
It is wild. Huh?
That's weak. That being said, it might happen. I'm just saying, on signing day, you got to be a little bit more confident than that to drop a crystal ball, in my humble opinion.
Right. No Wilt Fong crystal ball, despite what may be going around right now on some message boards.
Yes, it's just Mr. 66%.
He does have a 66% all-time crystal ball percentage.
Oh, man.
He's 12 for 15 this season, though.
I love it. I just love college football.
College football is unbelievable, isn't it?
We got insiders getting tracked on their numbers. That's hilarious.
It's wild. But Jordan Seaton, I mean, we heard the report that Oregon was coming in heavy a few weeks ago or last weekend. I can't remember when it was. And then Steve Wiltfong reported this morning, so it must have been 2 weeks ago, the Oregon stuff. He reported this morning that he visited Maryland over the weekend, this previous weekend. As you already mentioned, hometown kid. He's got a great relationship with Mike Locksley, apparently, who is the head coach over there for the Terrapins. We're just on wait and see at this point, though.
Yeah, and if you see me on my phone during this show more than normal, I promise I'm not twerking. I'm just trying to get the latest, most updated info.
Yep. Sounds like an NIL battle, though.
Isn't it always?
Yeah.
Isn't it always? 5-star players are almost all settled over NIL battles. And a bunch of people are saying, why doesn't Colorado just match? I don't think that's necessarily the answer
Mm-hmm.
without getting into details. It's not like it's not like a bidding war where Jordan Seaton's just saying let's go into the highest bid.
Run it up.
You know what I mean? But well, I don't know. I don't want to get too into the details and get into the weeds.
That's fair.
But I will say it's not always just as simple as, okay, well, they're offering this. Can you offer that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can. Okay, and like you just go until you can't say yes anymore. There's more to it than that.
There is, and this is what happens with 5 stars. We talked about it. Went through it. We were on the other side, of course. Cormani McClain ended up coming to Colorado, but this time last year was when Cormani's mom came out and said, "We're not signing today." During this early signing period, that was when he was heavily rumored to go to Miami or FSU. 2 years ago, Travis Hunter, around this time, did his flip. So these 5 stars, and we're seeing, we had I keep on forgetting his name. KJ, what's the safety's name?
Bolden.
KJ Bolden flipped today from FSU to Georgia. Florida's lost a lot, so it could be a lot worse out there. We have shed some guys, but there are teams who legitimately have reasons to sound the alarms and are freaking out right now, not only for this year, but for the future of their program. We'll get to the potential big splash today. Coach Box did put out the buff signal. But last night we did get a commitment. The first guy we talked about yesterday when we talked about portable targets, Samuel Okunlola, former Pitt
Really
edge.
quick, before we get to Sammy Sachs, your confidence meter on Jordan Seaton right now?
5.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I feel like we're teetering on an edge right now. We can go either way.
I really do feel that, and I'm sorry that doesn't really help anyone.
Yeah.
But I guess 5 is pretty low considering where we were last night.
Sure. A lot to happen, though. Also important to note, this is the early signing period. It doesn't end today. This can go through Friday.
Yep. 2 things I want to say. One player does not make or break a entire class of athletes that you're bringing in between the transfer portal and the freshman class. And 2, no matter what Jordan Seaton does, in his heart of hearts, he is going to believe that he made the right decision for him.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, no one should be throwing stones, whatever, talking shit about him, regardless. If he decides to stick with Colorado, there's going to be people who do try to say that's dumb, blah, blah, blah. Don't be on the other side of that. As I tweeted out this morning, Travis Hunter got absolutely blasted for picking Jackson State. He also got blasted for picking Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be that guy.
Well, to add on to that, we saw King Joseph Edwards commit last night to Syracuse. And a lot of Buffs fans, I think, were very supportive, of the decision of the kid. But there was still some of that where it's like kind of dogging on him, talking shit. And it's like, we don't have to do that. Let's not go there. Let's just be happy for these kids who are making life-changing decisions and potentially, changing the lives of their families as well, especially in this day and age with NIL.
Absolutely. So let's be classy about it, no matter what happens.
Samuel Okunlola, though. Again, the first guy we talked about yesterday, he made it official. CU has now brought in 3 edge rushers, Keaton Wade, Quincy Wiggins, and now Samuel Okunlola. This is a 4-star transfer. A guy that was I think he redshirted his first year. He played in 4 games, but last year played in 11 games. And I don't think he started very much, but was very, very productive still. 19 tackles. I think he had 6 TFLs and 5 sacks. And that's at a part-time player.
Yeah, really, really excited about him. 5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. And maybe more exciting than anything is that he was a true freshman last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who, I was on the radio this morning and they're like, what's Colorado going to do with their class balance if they're getting all transfers and no freshmen? And I'm like, well, that's not really what they're doing. Everyone has this idea in their head that it used to be this is, young guys are always coming from the high school ranks, and then transfers are always older guys, especially back in the grad transfer day. But now the way it works is these guys are transferring at all levels. And so you're getting a true sophomore to come in and...
Redshirt freshman. He redshirted in 22. Played in 4 games, redshirted.
So he redshirted 22, played in 23. So he was okay.
So he's a redshirt sophomore
so he's
coming in.
Okay, so redshirt sophomore. Either way, you're getting a guy with 3 full years of eligibility left to come in and be an impact player right away as well.
Yep.
It's kind of the best possible transfer you can get. Young and impactful.
Yeah.
So
why
really,
he's a 4-star.
Yeah, exactly. 4-star transfer. Super excited about him. And I say, as far as edge additions, this is probably my favorite one yet.
Over Quincy Wiggins, really?
Yes, over Quincy Wiggins.
I mean, he has shown more at the college football level to this point than Quincy Wiggins has. Both of them are young guys, though. Even Keaton Wade. I think he's a redshirt freshman this last year or a true sophomore. So he's got 2 or 3 years left as well. Samuel Okunlola was a 2022 3-star recruit. He actually came and visited CU in 2021, December of 2021, before he signed on the dotted line to Pitt. Important note here, he does have a brother who was a 5-star recruit in 2023.
And has one of the best nicknames in the sport.
What is it?
Pancake Honcho.
His name is his actual name is Samson Okunlola.
Yes.
But he was a 5-star, 23rd overall player, 4th overall offensive tackle in last season's class. Not in the portal, for what it's worth. Not in the portal.
Yep.
But I don't know. Keep an eye on it.
It always surprises me when I see 2 brothers go like different directions, especially when they're both highly sought after. So like, I guess is it Samson or Pancake is younger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can very much assume he had a Pitt offer as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I can look through it right now.
But it would be cool to reunite them. We already know it's all about family in Boulder, right?
He definitely had a Pitt offer too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when his brother was there.
Right. But I guess going to Miami is a lot cooler than going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. He was also a much bigger recruit. He was a 5-star, and Samuel was only a 3-star in 2022.
Yep.
But that's 3 new edges.
Yeah, really, really excited about Samuel Okunlola. He's a beast.
You've just replaced all the edges you lost to either eligibility or to the NFL draft. In Taj Alston, JD, Derek McClendon. Now you got 3 guys to just line back up.
Let's go.
All right, let's get into this 2024 recruiting class. But first, a shout out to our friends at Factor. Guys, we love Factor here at DNVR. It's probably my favorite meal kit type act. I don't even want to call it a meal kit because it all comes prepared. You don't have to actually cook like other meal kits. It's all ready for you, portioned out. Just pop it in the microwave for a couple minutes and you're ready to go. It's also delicious. They got tons of options. If you're on a diet or on keto, they can satisfy those needs as well. Even a vegetarian can get in on the action with Factor meal kits. Go to factormeals.com/DNVR or Buffs50, I think it is. Should probably get the promo code right. It is DNVR Buffs 50, and use code DNVR Buffs 50 to get 50% off. That's DNVR Buffs 50 at factormeals.com/DNVR Buffs 50 to get 50% off.
Also, shout out to the Colorado Golf Passport. Got to check this thing out if you are looking to go and get a bunch of great deals on Colorado golf. As I always say, there's so much good golf in Colorado, and you can kind of sometimes get married to playing golf just in your area. But one cool thing about the Golf Passport is you just open that up, be like, hey, I want to go play golf with the boys in 2 weeks. Let's get an early tee time on the books. Open that thing up. You're going to find a 2-for-1 deal. You're going to find a buy 3, get 1 free deal, whatever it may be. Free range balls if you come here. There's so many great deals in the Colorado Golf Passport. So check it out and follow Colorado Avid Golfer on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go to coloradoavidgolfer.com and use the code DNVR10 to save $10 off your golf passport.
As I mentioned, not everyone who was committed in this 2024 class cycle is going to be a Buff. Amontre Bradford, 3-star edge out of Georgia, just flipped to Georgia Tech. He is Cam Michael's cousin. Well, Cam Michael has his NLI in. He's going to be a Buff. He's signed.
There we go. Are we going to go through them all?
Yeah.
Or are we going to do that later?
No, let's go through them all.
Okay.
Do you want to start with Cam Michael?
Sure. We're gonna put you gonna put a minute on the clock?
I'm doing it right now. Yep.
All right.
Yep. Hold on. All right. You let me know when you start, or just start.
Ready, set, go. Cam Michael, or Cam Michael, depending on where you come from, is electric. Easily the fastest guy that Colorado has added. Maybe not easily, but definitely the fastest guy that Colorado has added so far in this freshman class, and maybe even including the transfer portal class. Just an absolute speed demon, and a guy who could end up contributing on both sides of the ball like Travis Hunter. Just an absolute freak athlete when it comes to his speed.
Yeah, a guy who came and visited earlier in the year. He came on an official visit as well. A two-way talent. He can play on either side of the ball. Most teams did recruit him to play defensive back, but he does have that ability to be a two-way player. I think he even played Wildcat quarterback for his high school. As I mentioned, was cousins with Amontre Bradford, but Cam Michael has signed his NLI. He is going to be a Buff.
Boom.
All right.
Killed it.
Next guy. Let's go with the other speedster, Draylon Miller.
Ready, set, go. Draylon Miller is a freak, again, is the word I would use, but in a totally different way, in my opinion. This is speed and power rather than maybe speed and finesse like you get from Cam Michael. Draylon Miller, we've comped him to Laviska Shenault. We've comped him to Deebo Samuel. He is that special type of player that it's just get the ball in his hands, because whether he uses his speed, his strength, his size, whatever it may be, he's very, very difficult to bring down. One of the best athletes in the class.
Tremendous athlete, played all over the field as well, extremely dynamic. Wildcat quarterback, defensive back, wide receiver, return game. Seems like he's going to be a plug-and-play receiver, though, for Colorado. You mentioned Deebo. You mentioned Laviska. He's got that type of skill set to be very, very versatile. 6 foot, 190. He's ready to go right away.
And while he may be only a 4-star, he is the 9th highest-rated recruit in Colorado history, just on the verge of being a 5-star.
Next guy, another 4-star, Brandon Davis Swain.
I'll let you start this one.
Brandon Davis Swain has been committed to CU for quite a while. He's come and visited during the summer of 2023, and that is when he committed. He's been locked in for a while. Another two-way player in the trenches, kind of played some tight end at West Bloomfield High School as well. Another guy who delivered pancakes, won an award for the best front seven player in the state of Michigan, won another state title. We've talked about the trenches a lot with this team. This seems like a young player who's ready to come in and contribute right away.
Incredibly athletic for his size, and it's one of the things that you love in those defensive linemen. Could probably go either way in terms of if you want to line him up inside or on the edge, especially early in his career. But a guy who has been very committed to Colorado through the entire process, which everyone appreciates a lot right now, and he is so athletic for being that big. Some of his most fun highlights are on the offensive side of the ball, playing tight end. Super excited about him.
All right, there's your 4 stars. We got 3 of them. We did have 2 more freshmen signed today. Let me just pull this up real quick. Next guy we're going to talk about, though, is Eric Brantley Jr. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Take your time.
All right. And do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll let you start this one.
Okay. So, Eric Brantley Jr. Oh, sorry. I need to start the clock. Eric Brantley Jr. from Valdosta, Georgia, is another guy who's been committed to CU for a long time. We haven't heard too much from him during his season, but he had another great year at Valdosta High School. A guy who comes in pretty much physically ready. 6'2", 250 was what he was listed at, headed into his senior season. Had another very productive season. He's just been locked in and ready to go. Another guy who's just believed in the process, believed in Coach Prime from the very jump, and he's a Buff.
Yeah, I love his recruitment, maybe more than anyone's in this entire class. Commits early, Never any noise about him potentially flipping. Almost to the point where people forgot about him. But this dude is a beast. One of the best defensive players in the state of Georgia. Probably underrated as a 3-star. And I think a guy who we're going to look back later and say, why was that guy a 3-star? He absolutely should have been a 4-star. Dominating in one of the most difficult states that dominate at the high school level.
He actually was a 4-star this time last year when he committed.
Okay.
I think it was just Rivals that had that. I don't know if they still have it. Trying to find Michael Welch's stats real quick. All right.
Take your time. We're looking to see. By the way, here you go. Some breaking news from our friend Life and Football. Not recruiting. Everyone calm down. Warren Sapp officially has his college degree.
There you go.
Awesome picture of him posing with his degree.
Amazing. Let's go.
I can't see what it says from where he got it. But there you go. He had to get his degree to join the coaching staff. He's got it. So a nice little signing day news there.
And just talked about 2 of the young freshmen he's going to help mold as well for this team.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last guy that is signed today. Want me to go again?
Yep.
Michael Welch is a Buff. This is a 2024 3-star running back out of Baldwin High School in Milledgeville, Georgia. In 2022, he was the Georgia Region 4A Offensive Player of the Year, rushing for over 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns. Had a bit more of a quiet season this year. Nearly 900 yards and 8 touchdowns, but a guy who sort of fits that mold that Coach Prime has talked about. Short, stocky, a bit of a bowling ball. He's a very tough runner. A lot of people on this staff are very excited about him. He's another guy, been locked in for quite a while.
Yes, absolutely. I love what you said about him fitting Coach Prime's mold, because that was my first thought when I watched him. And first thought when I heard Coach Prime talking about it is if you look at the guys they've been chasing in the high school ranks, they both kind of fit that mold. So, slippery and elusive while also adding some power to his game. Going to be really, really fun to watch run in the black and gold.
There you go.
There's a minute on all 5.
I just need to check something I just saw in the comments right now.
What? From where?
Someone said Walter Nolan's coming.
See, there should be like, if you're making a prediction, you should put an asterisk on your comments. But I don't think that's happening.
No, I haven't seen anything.
We would hear. We would hear if that's happening.
All those guys are official signees?
All those guys are official. NLIs are in.
Yep.
They are Buffs. Already spoke about Amontre Bradford. He's flipped to Georgia Tech. A few other guys have dropped off CU's hard commit list on 247 Sports. Buff Stampede. Our guy Adam Munster Tiger has updated this. No more Zacarl Lewis and no more Omar White.
And Amontre Bradford.
And Amontre Bradford, yes.
Yep. Omar White, one that we knew from a long time ago that there was a legal situation involving him, and kind of been a question mark for a while. Yep. Hadn't heard anything about it in a long time, so that one's not a surprise. Speaking of not having heard much, both Amontre Bradford and Zacarl Lewis things were very quiet around them for a while. Mm-hmm. Not posting much about CU, not seeing much buzz about them, and so I guess I wasn't totally surprised when I heard that today. But this is Coach Prime really, really showing you how little high school recruiting matters to what he's doing right now.
Yes.
I think there will come a time when Coach Prime is dedicating all or most of his resources, not all, a lot of his resources into high school recruiting. That's what you do when you have a firm foundation in place and you have the luxury to say, we're going to bring in guys that might not be great for us for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Colorado doesn't have that luxury whatsoever right now. In fact, they don't have time to wait 1 year for a guy to be good.
Yep.
So Coach Prime telling you right there with the numbers. You don't think that Coach Prime could have gone out and signed 35 players with 25 of them being 3-stars? Of course he could have. But that's not the approach that they took here. They want to go heavy on the transfer portal. And it's not like last year where they have a plethora of scholarships to use in any way they want because they've run off the whole team.
Yep.
As it stands right now, they're right up against the scholarship count. So they actually free a couple up with Amontre Bradford, Zakaro Lewis, and Omar White that they're probably going to use in the transfer portal. This is a stated mission from CU, and it's very, very clear through the numbers that high school recruiting is just simply not a priority for them right now.
We saw it yesterday. King Joseph Edwards picked Syracuse, and we talked about this when Nick Williams left, that this was probably going to happen because he was his primary recruiter. He spoke on Twitter a bunch about his admiration for Coach Williams, and then you just get Samuel Okunlola instead. Like, that's a lot of what's happening here. Just to go back on the two guys, Omar White, he did have he was arrested for some incident, a shooting or something that happened in Georgia. This was back in March. After that, we heard nothing from him. I don't even know if he played football this last year.
He did not.
So there you go. And then Zakaro Lewis, another guy who came on a visit. This was during the whole CL3 saga last summer. He came with CL3 and Coach Nickerson, who's the head or offensive coordinator, I think, at Venice. Either way, he's a coach at Venice. And I remember when we read what Coach Nick told Zakaro Lewis when he was there, when he did commit, if it feels right, it feels right. It did feel like kind of an emotional decision at the time anyway. But a kid from Venice, Florida, he's got tons of SEC offers. He'll probably land somewhere. And then another scholarship frees up because Jeremiah McCrimmon has entered the portal as well.
Yep. They need these scholarships. And both Zakaro Lewis and Amontre Bradford were guys that we liked. Omar White also were a guy that we really liked when he first committed. So not at all trying to spin this as, we didn't even want those guys.
Right, no.
Because those are good football players.
That's just the timeline of what happened right
Yeah,
there.
but they are really, really thin on scholarships. At one point the other day before Bedford decommitted, I had them at 84 out of 85. Then they add Ogunlola, so that gets them, I guess, back to 84. And then they kind of have some space now after the news from today. But that they're going to fill those in the transfer portal. Like, it's not going to be like last year where you have a bunch of scholarships open. I think they get right up to 85 this year. By the way, hit the thumbs up. It is signing day after all. A lot of great Buffs joined the fold today. So while you might be feeling nervous about Jordan Seaton or uneasy about Amontre Bradford or one of those other guys, hit the thumbs up to celebrate the Draylon Millers and the Cam McKells and the Tyler Johnsons of the world who all signed to Colorado today. I will use this opportunity to talk about what they signed when it comes to the transfers, because Colorado clearly strategizing today to announce a bunch of news on the transfer portal because they knew they wouldn't have a lot of news in the freshman recruiting ranks. When they say they signed as a transfer, that is known as a financial aid agreement, which isn't really binding. It's obviously an agreement between the school and the transfer that you're going to get financial aid for your education.
Didn't you explain it last year? It's more a bind to the school to the player rather than the player to the school?
Yes, exactly. But in the end, transfers can pretty much do whatever they want until they're sitting in a classroom. Especially
if you're a grad.
Oh, yeah. But even if not, because you're not technically considered a transfer to that school until you've enrolled in classes.
I'll go through it real quick. So Cordell Russell, Yukiri Walker, Chidozie Nwankwo, Preston Hodge, Justin Mayers, Tyler Johnson, Walter Taylor, Destin Wade, Quincy Wiggins, Samuel Okunlola, Will Shepard, Anquin Barnes, Khalil Benson, I think I already said Walter Taylor, Keaton Wade, Shimon Mateer, and am I missing any? Terrell Timmons.
Yep.
I think that's it. I've all signed today.
All right, there you go.
As I mentioned, Coach Box put out the bat signal. Chase Howell put out a report on 247. A big splash is going to come.
Yeah. Who could it be now?
I'll tell you, or we'll tell you who we think it could be on the other side of this break.
All right, I love it.
Shout out to our good friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Red Hawk Roofing, they do great work, but they are also DNVR fans. They are part of the family. So hit them up if you need to get a new roof for your home or business. You can get a free no obligation roof and property inspection, and also a free in-depth photo report for all inspections. They've got decades of experience. They got a quick response time, and they do all their work with quality materials. Again, huge DNVR supporters, so hit them up if you're looking for a new roof over your home or business. Be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com and tell them DNVR sent you.
Also, shout out to our friends at Shady Rays. Probably going to need to block out the haters today.
Need them.
You're going to need your Shady Rays on your face to block out the haters, but also because the future is very bright at Colorado. So get your Shady Rays, and they offer amazing deals. I think that their deals combined with their customer service are as good as anyone out there. First of all, when you use the code DNVR, you're going to get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses, meaning you can buy 2 pairs for the price of 1. Great deal. But also, make sure you diversify those 2 pairs, because if your sunglasses get broken, lost, or stolen, you are going to get to replace them for free with Shady Rays. They are not just interested in selling you 1 pair of shitty sunglasses and taking your money and running. They're interested in making you a lifetime customer of Shady Rays. So go over to Shady Rays, use the code DNVR for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses.
All right, so obviously the recruiting class is thinned out a bit. Colorado still, however, sits at 21 in the 247's overall team rankings for 2024. The average rating has dropped a little bit. It's at 89.85 now, it says.
Okay.
But still sitting at number 21. You're ahead of schools like Missouri, Nebraska, and Texas Tech, which, of course, puts you number 1 in the Big 12 now still.
Yep.
Still.
Yep. And what is the average rating of the freshmen up to now?
Give me 2 seconds.
I think it was like 93 point something, which, again, it's apples to oranges comparing the averages. But it does give you a display of like the quality of player Colorado's getting. I believe their average is 2nd in the country right now.
Yep, 93.13. That is still factoring in Jordan Seaton.
Yes.
Of course, we got to wait on that one. But we've all been saying it. A lot of people have been saying it. Adam's been saying it. It's quality over quantity for this team right now.
Yep, and I told you everyone was going to ignore that in my projected schedule of the offseason.
Yep. All right, who's next, do we think? Supposedly, a splash commitment's going to come through at some point today. Obviously, Jordan Seaton would be big enough of a splash in its own right, but it sounds like it's going to come from the portal. We're still waiting to hear from a few guys, potentially, that visited this last weekend. Guys like Chris McClellan. God, man, what's the wide receiver's name? The other one.
Chris Brazel.
Chris Brazel is another guy, potentially. Or it could be someone else. We've talked a lot about guys like Walter Nolan. Evan Stewart just entered the portal. That was A&M's best receiver last year. He's now the second 5-star transfer available in the portal. And
wow.
Yeah, 0.98. He was very productive last year. We've talked a lot about Trevor Etienne. So where do you want to go? Who do you want to throw out?
Well, I think ETN would be a very interesting one. Colorado obviously could use a beast at running back, and that is not to talk down about any of the guys they have. Obviously, we love Dylan Edwards. He's more of a change of pace back. We like Savion Wilkerson. We think he's back next year. We're not totally sure because he participated in senior day.
And then Alto.
And we love Alton McCaskill, who we think that he could be, a special player when he's fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But to get a Trevor Etienne who is super, super dynamic to add to your backfield next season would be really, really awesome. So, I would be super excited about it if there's him. But also, if you were able to get, Evan Stewart, go watch his tape.
Yep.
Just another one that I would use the term electric for. Just absolutely all over the place for Texas A&M. And then Nolan would be probably the biggest surprise, just because he's the number one player in the portal, and every NIL collective in the country is checking their balance before they talk to him.
And I think it was either yesterday or the day before, said he's down to 2 schools, Ole Miss and Oregon. So I think we can rule him out. I'll throw out Evan Stewart again. I mean, this is a guy apparently was very interested in JSU back when he was a recruit in 2022. Obviously, Coach Prime's former school. I've heard that he and Shador have a relationship. This is a Texas kid. He went to Liberty High School in Frisco, Texas. Was one of the best recruits in the 2022 class. People are going to say, again, we don't need any more wide receivers, blah, blah. You don't pass up on adding a guy of this caliber. If you can get a guy like this, you add him, and it's no question.
Absolutely no question. I'll throw in one more.
Okay.
A player who's not even in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Samson Okunlola. One of the top-rated offensive tackles last year. He is not in the transfer portal as of right now. He is at Miami. But obviously we know his brother committed to Colorado yesterday. Like we said earlier, it's all about the family affair at Colorado. What if that's the big surprise, is he's going to enter the portal and come to Colorado?
That'd be huge. I mean, it's certainly, if the Buffs happen to lose Jordan Seaton, it would really make up for that blow. I want to throw another one out here. I need to find it on my timeline, though. He might have deleted the tweet, actually.
Okay.
All right. I'll try and find it here in a second.
I'm trying to find us if there's anything new on Jordan Seaton.
Any updates at all?
No. Just for clarification, there was someone out there who put out a fake tweet that Wiltfong crystal balled him to Maryland. That made its way onto the message boards, all that. People were freaking out. That was not true. So still, it's just the Maryland insider who has crystal balled with a 6 confidence to Maryland.
So Jordan Seaton posted that picture, right, of the meme, the guy picking between the 2 buttons.
Yep.
Earlier this morning, LJ McCray, he is a Florida Gators hard commit since October. This is a 5-star defensive lineman out of Daytona Beach, Florida. He posted that same picture, and it doesn't sound like he's going to be signing during this period.
Yeah, and that was one that I brought up yesterday as a potential flip, right? Or is that the quarterback?
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them still.
Dude, poor Florida. If you're a Buffs fans out there and you're feeling like this is a hard day with the way that it's going with Jordan Seaton, who hasn't even done anything yet.
Yep.
Florida has lost damn near everything today.
Yeah, at one point in time, I think just a month ago, were number 3 overall in the 2024 just freshman recruiting rankings on 247.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're down to 13th. I mean, when you're recruiting at the top, that's a pretty sizable drop right there. And they've had like 2 or 3 flips today too.
Yeah.
So it could be much, much worse.
That's tough. That's tough.
Anything else? I only really got one more thing before we hit this last break.
Nothing new on Jordan Seaton. Obviously, all the recruiting sites are running with this right now. You've got the 247 live show talking about the crystal ball from the guy. They're putting out graphics. They're putting out everything. I'll say this. Here will be my my thing to talk about. Last night, I turned on the Frisco Bowl.
Ah, yes.
And who's starting at quarterback for UTSA but Owen McCown? And he actually ended up having a nice little game.
He did. He recovered.
He started off 1 for 5 with 2 interceptions for 1 yard. And I was like, oh, man, poor Owen. But he ended up actually playing really well. If you take off those first 5 throws, he played fantastic. But I just remember thinking, wow, for about a 4-week stretch, just months before Deion Sanders arrived in Colorado, Owen McCown, and this is not a slight to Owen McCown.
No.
But Owen McCown was the single most exciting thing happening at Colorado.
You're not telling any lies.
I mean, I remember Yaya made me like a background Owen McCown like hype graphic. He's just like, oh, I made this for you because I know you're so hyped about Owen McCown because like he threw a couple nice passes in a game. And we were like, dude, we might have something here. Yeah. Son of a former player, he can read the field. This is much better than any of the shit we've been watching at quarterback for the first half of this season. And so that was like a really big perspective moment. It's like, again, not disrespect to Owen McCown, who, like I said, had a nice game last night.
Yeah.
But when you think about what's the most exciting thing happening at Colorado right now, I mean, they have arguably the best football player in the country in Travis Hunter.
Yep.
They have a player who's going to be a Heisman candidate and a first-round pick at quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. You're bringing in guys like Will Shepard. You're in the mix for some of the biggest recruits in the country. To go from being so excited about Owen McCown for basically like hitting an in route accurately to having those players on the roster is such an incredible jump in basically 1 year's time that I just think everyone should remember that before you panic over anything. Don't break a sweat on the escalator.
Yep. A lot of what you just said. This team still has one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, is Shedeur Sanders. They've got one of, if not the best overall player in the country in Travis Hunter. We know there's many needs this team has that they still need to address. This team isn't ready to be fielded and play a game tomorrow. That's why we have a whole offseason. We got to go through this whole portal period. We got to go through the spring portal period. There's a lot of stuff to come through. And at the end of the day, Deion Coach Prime Sanders is still the head coach of this football team. So, again, perspective. Perspective at all times. I know it's a stressful day. There's a lot going on right now, but just remember that.
Yep.
This came out yesterday. We've got 5 new future opponents. We talked about this earlier before the season when they joined the Big 12, that they have these games scheduled with Houston, with K-State, with some other I think West Virginia may have been on the schedule too. So they were going to have to find some more teams for their out-of-conference schedule, and we got those answers yesterday. 2025, Buffs are going to take on these are all home games, by the way. Buffs are taking on Delaware. 2026, Weber State. 2027, Northern Illinois comes to town. And then 2028, Northern Colorado. And then 2031, Northern Colorado as well.
There we go. Dubs across the board.
Any other news? I guess I've seen people mention their names. So Boo Carter signed to Tennessee.
Yep.
Charles Lester signed to Florida State.
Yep.
Who obviously King Joseph Edwards committed to Syracuse last night. Who else am I missing that we might have talked about? Chase Basantis withdrew from the portal.
I called that one.
You did call that one. Well done.
And when you said he hadn't taken any visits, I'm like, oh, I've seen this one. This is the better pay me that NIL money or I'm out of here move.
Am I missing anyone else that we potentially talked about?
I mean, there's a lot of guys who we brushed upon throughout the year. And not any wide receivers. Oh, Ryan Wingo.
He's still apparently. I don't know if he's signed.
Did he
it or
actually
not.
do it?
I can't. I don't know if they reported it. They reported he was going to sign to Texas though.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. There's a couple others. I think Brandon Baker was a guy that we liked. He obviously went to Texas.
Yep. Williams Nwaneri went to Mizzou.
Yeah. No one we've talked about recently though that I don't think you hit on.
All right, just doing one last check here. Let's get to chat. Let's get to questions. But first, a word from our friends at Game Time, our great friends over at Game Time. Whatever city you're in, wherever you are in the country, check out Game Time. It is the best place for last-minute tickets. You also take all the guesswork out of buying your tickets. What you see is what you pay with Game Time. All the fees and all that are right there in front of you. You're not going to get slammed at the checkout window with Game Time when you go to buy tickets. Not just sporting events, though, but concerts, whatever's going on in your city, check out Game Time. And download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Breck Distillery.
Breck Distillery, thanks. Man, I could use that today.
We all need it, brother.
As I tweeted out earlier, big boy recruiting is not for the faint of heart. Next time someone notices that I have a couple gray hairs on the top of my head, I'm going to be like, yeah, have you ever heard of Jordan Seaton? So this has been a wild ride, but I think I will finish the day off with some Breckenridge Distillery when I get home.
We deserve it.
1 or 2 rocks in there, 2 to 3 fingers worth of Breckenridge Distillery bourbon. That's going to be a well-earned drink tonight. And if you need that, go to BreckenridgeDistillery.com to see their entire list of amazing spirits. It's not just bourbon, even though that's my favorite. They also have vodka. They've got an espresso vodka that everyone loves. So check out our friends over at Breckenridge Distillery. Go to BreckenridgeDistillery.com.
If you guys are enjoying the show, enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the podcast. If you can't make the live show, we are in your pocket wherever you go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We would greatly appreciate your 5-star review there as well. Appreciate you, chat. All right, who's up? B. Wilk asks, getting to watch live today. Thanks for tuning in. My daughter calls you the sports nerds, but I call you must-see TV. Can't miss a show. Go Buffs.
Shout out to your daughter. Man. Shout out to your daughter. What was so funny about that?
Next. Calvin. What do you guys think about the Dylan Eyebrow tweet and other guys... About other guys or about him? He also deleted some tweets. I'm scared.
I'll just say this. If you're going to stress about every vague tweet,
I know
you're going to have a bad time. Everyone, especially players who are eligible to transfer, is being hit from every angle. And... I mean, I can't even imagine like the decisions and options that these 18-year-old kids have. And yes, they are kids. So also like he could have just gotten a weird text from a girl. And that's what he posted. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We're talking about 18-year-olds here. So I would try to not stress over every vague tweet.
I think we proved that the vague tweet emoji gang yesterday is kind of just a lot of fun.
Dude, you want to know what's really funny? There was a guy on Buff Stampede who was like, I'm pretty sure anyone can just post this stuff and get interaction. And he has like, I don't know, like 100 followers.
Yeah.
And like he posted like eye emojis. We got better today with a gif of Shador flexing. And he ended up getting like 300 likes on the tweet.
I'm not going to say who, but there are a few accounts out there, I think, that have grown their platform to some relevancy in this fan base by doing stuff like that.
Yes. At least we're telling you guys that we're doing it as a joke.
Yes. Although I think we might have messed up with the pawn. I don't think that might have been vague enough.
I know. Well, that was your fault.
Sorry.
Someone responded to me with the lax emoji, and that was a good one. This is what should have been what we put out yesterday.
Put another one out? Not today. It's too stressful right now.
Yeah, we can't do that to the people today.
What's up, Reggie? Whether he stay or go, he recruited Dogs for CU on TV. Thanks for the shout out. That's worth a chain. He gonna regret it if he doesn't stay with Colorado. Assumedly talking about Seaton.
Yeah, maybe he will, maybe he won't.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Obviously hope he's a Buff, but
of course.
I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk if he's not.
Lot of time left in this entire cycle.
Oh yeah,
there's solutions. There's backup plans. I'm sure. Have you guys
I
seen
wouldn't
Percy
be surprised
Lewis?
if we get the old delaying until formal signing.
Sure,
day.
why not?
Then we can talk about this every day for the next month and a half.
Juice 2X with the question: have you seen Percy Lewis? I have not.
Who's that?
I will tell you who it is. Is a former second overall recruit in the country. JUCO recruit in the country. Okay.
Okay.
So he's a 2022 JUCO kid. He committed to Mississippi State. And he has played, I'm trying to find what position. It just says OL, of course. But he's massive. It says 25 starts in his college career. I'm assuming that includes JUCO. It says he's enrolled, though. He's not in the portal, so.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe a name to watch out for. Beautifully Blessed says 3K watching, 400 likes. Hit the like button. Even if you're a spy, hit the button. You're here. Appreciate you.
It's the least you could do if you're coming in here to try and troll us, is at least throw us one measly thumbs up.
And we know you'll be back anyways, too.
That's true. That's true.
Super chat from East Coast Kev. Ladies and gentlemen, Warren Sapp just posted his college degree on the Rich Eisen show. He coming.
Stoked.
Congrats, Coach Sapp.
Do you know where your college degree is?
I do, actually, I think.
I do not.
I mean, I've never hung it up or put it in a frame or anything. I think it's in like, I actually don't know where it is.
I've like had dreams where I had to like I got like a new job or something and I had to prove that I graduated college.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I do this? Because I don't know what I did with my degree.
Have them call the...
Yeah. When I'm thinking logically, not in my dreams, I'm like, oh, you can just call, I think.
Right.
And get a copy of your degree, I assume.
You could probably just show a picture of you at a CU football game from when they were bad back then. Be like,
it's
here's proof.
Like, listen, man, I was at the 2022 Utah game. And as you can see here in the background, it's 28-0 in the first quarter. I promise you I wouldn't have been there if I'm not a true CU alum.
Right. Oh, look, Jason Whitlock's in the comments. He even hit the like his head.
Oh, actually, I can't even say that. Anyways.
Lone Wolf, how do you guys feel about our linebacking core? Do you think we need to add one or two? I think that's next on the transfer portal visit list, right? We're going to go address the front seven still, linebacker especially.
Yep.
I think we need another corner or two is what we've been told or what we heard. Coach Prime might have said it. I can't remember where we heard this from.
Yep. It's linebackers next. Coach Prime said it.
There you go. Lamar's asking where Case and Wiseman is headed. I truly don't know. He entered the portal on December 8th, it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's retweeting a bunch of stuff, but he got offered by Samford. And then he got another one, I think, today from Missouri State.
Okay. Oh, Samford, home of Montrell, Washington.
That's right. That's right.
He went crazy. He went crazy in the when they played Florida, I think.
Yes, you're right.
Sick tape.
You're right. What's up, Big Teasy? He says, I'm just riding the escalator with zero perspiration.
Perspiration, yes. I would have actually pronounced that wrong if I said it. Because I read
I
it as
almost did.
precipitation. That's the right way to do it. Don't break a sweat on the escalator.
Exactly.
If you know that eventually the escalator gets to the next floor,
Right.
you just don't have to worry about what's going on while you're on it.
Yeah. Last one from BP says, can you come on tonight? Keep us updated. Your info is factual, honest. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Well, considering we're coming up on the end of the show here and we don't have any breaking news, we may be doing an emergency show tonight one way or the other.
There you go. Stay tuned. I'm scrolling through Twitter right now to try and see if there is anything. Oh,
If
man.
you're someone that's in the comments just lying, you suck.
Yeah, if you go on Twitter and make fake accounts for laughs too, that sucks.
Well, that's at least you're like, if you're reading Twitter, then you can like confirm and try and figure out what's going on. Like when we're live on the show and you're just posting bullshit in the comments, it sucks.
I don't see anything.
Nothing yet.
I'll check Jordan Seaton's 247 page one more time, see if anything else has happened. Again, though, I said this earlier in the show. It's important to note this is the early signing period, not early signing day specifically. This can go through Friday.
It could go to Friday or it could just wait until
Early signing day, February 7th, I think.
regular signing day. Yeah.
Regular signing day.
Yep. Someone did point out, so I don't know where this came from, but someone somewhere said Jordan Seaton would be joining the 24/7 live stream, or 247. I don't know what they call it, at some point
Yeah.
today. Well, it's scheduled to end in 30 minutes.
Wow.
So if that's happening, it would likely need to happen soon.
I mean, I just searched Jordan Seaton in 247 and I'm not seeing any official announcements. So,
All right. Any other questions?
I think we're good. Yeah, potential emergency show tonight. Stay tuned.
Yep, we'll be on top of it if we need to be. Oh, I guess it was Wilt Fong who said he's gonna be on the 247 live show, which would be a great way to get people to tune in.
All right, give me one more minute of scrolling here. I don't see anything, man.
I don't see anything either. We will go back to our post in the war room and see if anything happens.
Yeah, hang out for a few hours and then if not, we go home.
All right.
Why did we let Williams, our DN's coach, go? He didn't get let go. He took a job with his friend, basically.
Yep. Got a nice raise while he was at it.
There you go. Alrighty, guys. Appreciate you, chat. Make sure you hang in there. We'll be back potentially soon. Let's go Buffs.
Don't break a sweat on the escalator. Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.